Yo, what's up, y'all? Tearing apart my keyboard down here. We out here, go to Uncle, taking a step ahead, trying to get 3 degrees buffer in these streets. You know how we roll, you know how we do. And I want to talk tonight about something I think is very important for the missionary, the service community when it comes to how missionaries experience, how they process their experience. Probably the best way to say it. The first year that I went out as a missionary, it was after my senior year, my fifth year. I was fifth year senior out of Southern Adventist University. And when I returned, it wasn't back to the school because I'd already graduated. So I was kind of on my own in my own space. I actually spent the last couple months of my time in Palau that very first year looking for a job when I would come back. So I went straight from graduation essentially to the mission field, and after a year of that I came back and I'm going right back into another job that was very intense, and in a job that I would say I didn't really have that much time to reflect on my experience outside of how much I knew that I enjoyed and wanted to go back. But I really didn't have that much time to process what I had experienced or what I had done or really reflect on it at all. And after that first year back, I worked at a place called Advent Home. Pretty intense there for the time that it was there. It was. I don't think it exists anymore, but it was a troubled home, a group home for troubled youth, troubled boys. Just a bunch of young men going through a bunch of different challenges, all in the same place. So it was an adventure every day, as you could probably imagine. But I went from there to work for Georgia Cumberland Conference next into another kind of high intensity environment, which was canvassing. I ran the literature evangelism programs for Heritage Academy for a year and a half and for Southern Adventist University for another year and a half. And there, with canvassing all the time, you're taking care of inventory, you're stocking the books, you're training new students, you're taking care of the van, you're recruiting, you're running summer programs, and it doesn't stop. That's one of the fun things about canvassing, but it's also one of the things that when you finish, it's just like you take a breath and you're just really relieved to be done. Now, what's interesting about this is after that time period, I knew that I needed such a break. This would have been around Thanksgiving, Christmas of 2014. My dad came up. I forget what he was doing. He might have been visiting my sister down in Oakwood or something. But he was passing through Tennessee on his way back up to Virginia at the time. And he stopped in, and I told him, man, like, I love the canvassing work, but I'm feeling burned out. I feel like I'm at rock bottom. I need to get out. And he was in full support. And so I started looking for different opportunities to kind of take the next step and whatever the next evolution was going to be. And within the next couple months, January of that year, Abner Sanchez came down to do his recruiting, and I met up with him there, and he wanted to know if I was interested in coming back. And I was like, hell yeah, let's go. So, two more, signed up for a 2-year contract. And by the summer, I was headed back out to Palau again. All of this to say, for the roller coaster ride that it was since graduating, really, and going out into the mission field for the first time, I didn't have that time to process for years, and even went back into the mission field again without having processed the first time that I was there. Like, there's a story that I tell, a sermon that I tell that kind of illustrates this point. And all I can summarize it as is I knew there was something there that I enjoyed and that made the Christian experience valuable to me. And that's what made me want more of it. And it was the idea of service. But that was the main takeaway. I still hadn't had a chance to reflect on anything else in the experience. I just knew I wanted more of that experience. And now I'm going back into the mission field and building up on it again for 4 years now, right? So there isn't much opportunity to reflect. Regrettably, I didn't keep a journal when I was out there. Just had my hands in too many different things. But I guess that's not really an excuse, because my boy Linsky, who was also out there for 4 years, we were talking. I caught up with him over the Christmas break just a week ago, and he said that he actually had videos recorded every single day that he was out there, which blows my mind, because I don't know when he would have had time to do that. But Linsky, if you know him, you know he just makes time out of nowhere. But like, for me, that wasn't my experience. I really struggled with that. And for all the things that I know were so awesome, and everything that I know I enjoyed about every single day, I wish I would have done that, because there are things I know I've forgotten already. And to keep on kind of going with the flow of the point I'm trying to get to. After 4 years out in the mission field, I come straight to Michigan and Andrews to start on my doctorate degree. Sorry, not doctorate, the master's, the MDiv in the seminary. And so I go from that, and I'm doing all this studying, and I know I love missions. Obviously, I've been out there for so long, so it's natural for me to plug in with the missions department and see what I can do to help recruit and help support. Abner was still the principal for a number of the years that I was in that program. So whenever he would come down, I would do what I could to help support. And even during COVID, I helped out and helped out with recruiting when there weren't any representatives from the islands coming to the schools to recruit. But again, all this to say, I didn't have time to reflect on my own experience and really process it or debrief it. And I became more aware of this because the more I got involved with the student missions department here, there would be returned SM retreats. And this is something that I realized, man, I never had anything like that. It was just mission year back into real life, right? And I found myself reflecting a little bit here and there. It was just for a weekend where we would have these return SM retreats. But I found myself thinking, man, this is something that has impacted me from since 2010. And I haven't thought to process this at all. And I'm processing it here in 2019, 2020, 21. In the last couple of years, just little piece by little piece. And still there's so many things going on where I haven't really been able to just take a deep breath and really process all of that. And while I'm saying that, there was an idea that I had to actually use this channel as a way to express that and to debrief that and process it with myself and just be able to talk out about that, because I really haven't had that many opportunities to do that. Still 5 years worth of being there. Now, the cool thing is, having realized kind of how much I missed out on something like that, and then kind of looking at how missions exists and return SMs kind of operates throughout the school year. Outside of the return SM retreat, there aren't that many opportunities for the missionaries to come together and kind of just be in a space with other people who understand their experience. A place where you can process, where you can debrief in places that you can't usually on campus, because let's be real, you can have the best of friends, but they'll ask you how to go and they expect you to say good. And you might want to say good, but you have so much more to explain. It's like you can't just sum it up like that. And you start going on, and you start realizing that people are tuning out when you start telling these stories. And eventually your response is good when they start asking you, how did it go? Because you know that they don't have the ear for it. But other people who have been out there and experienced it do. And they're willing to hear, they're willing to sit and listen, because there's familiarity there. They understand it in a way that not nobody else can, but that other people are less inclined to be able to understand and to appreciate. So something that we've been working on from the last semester, and that we're working on here at Andrews this coming semester, the original idea was, it's going to sound kind of funny, but it was related to the fact that I was starting my third degree in counseling and psychology. And the idea was kind of like a therapeutic SM group, like AA for missionaries. It's a bad comp, but I don't know, most people know what AA is. So just a group where people with a common interest or a common experience can come together and just share it and be themselves with others who will understand that. So in principle, I guess it's the same thing, although being in SM is not a problem, and it's not an addiction to get over. I would argue it's an addiction. The mission mentality is an addiction that more people need to have. I'll throw that out there. But anyways, we're looking at this semester just having a space, time and space set aside for former missionaries, former SMs to come and just hang out and to be. It's not going to be a thing with an agenda. I really wanted to make it a space where people can just come in and just be organic, not where there's a prompt, we come in and here's the question of the day. Like, no, we know that we're here because we've all been out there in that context, and now we're going to be here, and however it goes is however it goes. And because you know that these are the people who have experienced something very similar to you, then you know there's common ground, and you know there's going to be people there who are willing to listen should you decide to share. And I'm excited for it. We're actually going to be meeting this next Thursday for the first time. And who knows, school hasn't even started back up yet. We made the announcement. I don't know who's going to show up. I don't know who's even here right now, but I'm going to be there, and I'm going to have a good time just being, even if it's just being by myself. I'll process something on my own, but it's going to be valuable, I think, for the missionaries who come back and they feel like there's that one first weekend of emphasis and a few different things that happen throughout the year, but not something consistent where they can come together outside of the studies, outside of all the drama, outside of all the responsibilities and things that school is all about, and just relate, connect, conversate, and experience community with like-minded people. And I'm really excited for that. So yeah, I wanted to share that and kind of give you the heads up as well that the more that I hang with them and uncover things, I'm going to be talking about that experience in these videos too, as a way for myself to debrief and to process this experience. And I don't know how I'm going to do it, but it's going to be fascinating to try to break down this thing and process it from something that's happened 13 years ago now. So, wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. 13 and a half years. Yo, we out here, man. We out here for real. I don't know what old means. Shoot, it's not in my vocabulary. We just out here, doing stuff, getting stuff done, taking a step ahead, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, anyways, I'm not tripping. It's gonna be fun. But yeah, anyways, like, subscribe, share. Let me know what you think about it down in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.